Hey, people, welcome back to another in a series of AMA member spotlights. Our featured member right today, Diane Bark. Diane, how are you?
I'm doing really well. It's the day after Halloween, and
Yes,
I
it
didn't
is.
have to eat any leftover candy.
No sugar hangover.
No, no.
All right, well, let's talk about you. What's up with you? What's up with your business? Tell us about yourself.
Sure. I'm a financial advisor, and I have been doing this since 1990. I started out in this business because I was single and I decided that I needed to take care of myself financially and do some investing.
Mhm.
And then over the years, I started thinking, well, I think I can teach this to other women.
Hmm.
And I decided to target women because the first firm that I ever worked for, um, the CEO used to come into our office every Christmas and he would say to us, now, when you're talking to your clients, don't forget to ask for the son's account. And I just kind of sat there and I thought, well, what about the daughters? You know, and it's interesting because, as we know, women tend to outlive men. So I have, decided to target women as my clients. I mean, I do have male clients as well.
Mhm.
And, my business is basically a very down to earth, very honest business. I speak in a language that people can understand. I know some people, ask me, how do I charge for my business? And I do both fee-based and commission. And I think some people are kind of shocked by that because it seems old-fashioned, but it really is all about what's best for the client.
So you are a financial advisory expert specializing in helping women, but not just women.
Not just right.
Is there a particular case study or story you can share of a situation that you feel really represents your ability or your ability to help someone?
Yeah, so a lot of what I do is I get involved with client estates, and I cannot tell you how many times I have been involved with cleaning up people's estates. So, for example, I worked with a woman who was the was heading up an estate for a friend of hers. And so she invited me into the friend's house, and we found stock certificates in the client's freezer. We found gold bullion in the husband's trunk of his car.
Wow.
And as we were walking through the house, it was like a hoarding maze. And there were thousands upon thousands of financial statements. And we managed to consolidate almost everything because even after they died, we were still finding stuff. And we made it work for them because these people really needed income
Mm.
and they didn't know what they had. And, I have another case where a client of mine's mother was a Holocaust survivor.
Mm.
And we found it must have been 120 stock certificates in a safe deposit box. And again, we consolidated everything. And so then they understood how much the estate was worth. It was worth about 1.5 million. And she had no idea.
Not
And
chump change.
so
Yeah.
it's not. And so, these are things I do. I mean, a third one is I had a client who used to tell me he owned Bristol Myers stock because his father worked for the B&O Railroad. And some rep from Bristol Myers back in the 1930s told him to buy Bristol Myers stock. And my client was in the early stages of dementia. And we went to his house and we found $1 million worth of Bristol Myers stock in
Wow.
his house. So, and he had no children and no siblings, no wife. And so we set up a charitable remainder trust for him. So, I mean, these are the kinds of things I do. And I also do a lot of retirement planning because, again, people have retirement accounts all over and they don't know what they own and they don't know how much it is. So I'm kind of the gatherer of assets. So I can show
Which is
people what they
important.
have. It is absolutely.
So not just a financial advisory wizard, also a house cleaner,
A house,
organizer,
absolutely.
hoarder, therapist.
Yeah,
But I think
no,
you bring up a really
definitely.
good point, which is whether or not whether regardless of who builds somebody's financial plan, it's important to know what your plan is. And
Exactly.
clearly that's one of your roles, and I'm sure you do
Yes,
very well with that. Is
yes.
there any advice you would just give broadly? You've been in business for a couple years. Is there any advice you give maybe somebody who's just starting out, or a peer in or outside of your realm, something that's helped you to be successful over the last 22 years?
Yeah. First of all, you have to like what you're doing. If you
Mhm.
don't like what you're doing, you need to go find what you like what you're doing, because if you're not happy, you're going to do not a very, you're going to have a bad
That
performance.
that I agree with you on.
And the other thing is you have to know when to fire a client. You
Mm.
have to know when, it's time to get rid of somebody.
Yeah,
And, one of the things that I always talk about is whoever I bring on has to be respectful and nice. Those are the two qualities that I expect in my clients. And if you're not, then, you need to find somebody else. So,
not arrogant, rude, or stupid. I think
and
those are
not
the three
arrogant, rude, or
words.
stupid.
That
Exactly.
was how I wrote that down in my notes. That's how much of an impression that
Right.
made upon me. Last thing, if you want to get a hold of Diane, how do you do it?
Diane.bark@lpl.com or 410-486-7915 or
And it is
Facebook.
a wrap. If you're an AMA member and you want to do a showcase like this, reach out. All the info will be below in Diane's profile on our chat. Thanks again, Steve Green signing off. Diane, thank you again for an
Thank
excellent
you.
conversation. See you at the next meeting.